Good afternoon, everyone. Rich is going to help me out here. As BMAT said, I had the pleasure of working with him for 10 years as the Deputy Director in the Bay Program and now onto the regulatory side of things. But TMDL is a nice, simple term, and many of you may know what it means, but it really has a lot behind it, a lot of power behind it. And we want to talk quickly about what it is and where we're headed in the Bay region with an unprecedented effort that EPA is leading, along with the partners, to do the Chesapeake Bay Watershed TMDL, the largest in the nation. I guess I could use this thing. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, this is a provision of the Clean Water Act. It's a federal provision that the EPA and the states typically administer. Many TMDLs have been done, nothing of this size and magnitude. And essentially it's a cap. It caps pollution load for a water body, for a stream, at a level to maintain healthy conditions. As simple as that. It's a maximum amount, a cap, to return a stream to health. And essentially what it does is two things. We often call it a pollution budget. It's a pollution budget for a stream. It sets the maximum amount of loading that a stream can handle and still be healthy. But it does a second thing that's probably more important than that, and that is it assigns responsibility for the reductions to different aspects of the problem. It assigns responsibility to individual states in the watershed. Obviously, we have a 6 or 7 state watershed here. It assigns reductions to the major tributaries of the bay. It'll get very specific, assigning responsibility for reductions to point source pollution, be it stormwater or pipe discharges, and lastly, categories of pollution in the non-point source area, different land use types, different categories of non-point source pollution. So it does those two things. What it does not do, you'll hear a lot today about the cleanup deadlines for the bay. Technically, a TMDL under the Clean Water Act does not require a cleanup deadline to be selected. Certainly, the partnership is engaging in those discussions today. It does not require an implementation plan per se, but the Bay partners have agreed that this is going to be a model TMDL for the nation. So it not only will be an allocation of responsibility, but a very robust implementation plan. And what it does do is it has backing through the Clean Water Act, particularly in the area of point source permits. Permits must conform with the allocation, and it establishes load reductions necessary in the non-point source world. So why are we doing this? Just so people were clear about that, we all know that the Chesapeake Bay and the tidal areas of the bay remain impaired on the updated 2008 listing of impaired waters. We also have legal obligations. It's the law that we must follow through with some legal obligations stemming from Virginia and DC consent decrees, which set a deadline of 2011. We're planning to meet.
Hey, let's shut up back there, please. I was back there yammering earlier. I know it's great fun.
Right.
Can't hear it up there.
So we're planning to beat this deadline in 2011 by about 6 months. But more importantly, why are we doing this? It's really to engage all the tools that we have at our disposal to try to accelerate the bay cleanup. I think we all know the difficulty. This is another tool that the PSC and the Executive Council has said, let's max our use of this tool to get a job done. So what is it again? We're focusing on nitrogen, phosphorus, and sediment. It'll cover those pollutants. It'll cover all the states of the Bay watershed, from New York down to Virginia. And it will be the largest TMDL in the United States when it's completed at the end of 2010. And which gets me to the schedule very quickly. Just so you know the process steps, we're already engaged in this effort very, very heavily. In April, tentative caps will be communicated out for each major basin of the bay, for each major state. By June of 2010, each state will have been asked to update their river-by-river strategies of how we're going to meet those new caps. We're looking for a final draft of the TMDL to go out to the public in June of 2010 and to finish the job at the end of the calendar year 2010. But you all have a very important role here, both today and into the future. There will be a series of public meetings starting in the summer of 2009, where we very much need your feedback and engagement. And the official public comment period, according to the Clean Water Act, will occur in the June through August timeframe of 2010. But there will be many opportunities along the way to engage particularly with individual states sponsoring public input sessions that are required by their TMDL programs and their state laws. So who's going to issue this thing? It's really our responsibility in EPA Water Division to issue the TMDL, but we very much rely on the watershed states and our partners. This is a team effort. If the final decisions need to be made, we will be making the final decisions. But the states have a key role to really update the tributary strategies which form the foundation of implementation for this new allocations. And I'm going to let Rich talk about the implementation here real quickly, but just to be clear about it, the Clean Water Act does not require the TMDLs have a robust implementation plan. They do require us to make a reasonable assurance that it will be implemented. But technically, it's not legally required, but the Bay program has made a commitment to do a robust implementation plan in conjunction with the TMDL. But certainly other Clean Water Act authorities will be assisting. Farm Bill programs will be assisting in implementation. You know, this job will get done not only from EPA standpoint, but from the Farm Bill, from the states, from the locals doing their share.